Hello everyone. Welcome, my friends, to yet another ASMR video. Once again we return to familiar territory with Yu-Gi-Oh content, although a very slight difference and a happy change. Rather than opening simple booster packs in which we obtain a randomized series of possible cards and rarities, today we will be opening, for those who are not aware, an item called a structure deck. A structure deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is basically a great beginner's tool. It's a small box which contains just enough cards to make a deck that you can immediately play and use in a game. Often they'll include rule books and a little playmat, so it's the great little beginner's kit. They're quite cheap, they come with nice variety of cards, usually centering around a particular theme, and that will be reflected today, as today's structure deck theme is called Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG Dinosmashers Fury Structure Deck. This is a structure deck to get you started really quickly that focuses on dinosaur monsters. Let's take a look at the back. The Dinosmashers Fury structure deck provides the ultimate prehistoric dueling experience. It's survival of the fittest, and only the strongest cards in your deck will do. The rest will be food for the apex predator, ultimate Conductor Tyranno, a 3500 attack monster that can send all enemy monsters cowering in fear before devouring them all in a single battle phase. Only the tough can command the primal rage to victory. So, you get the gist of it. This structure deck includes 36 common cards, 2 ultra rare cards, 3 super rare cards, 1 token card, and 1 double-sided deluxe game mat / dueling guide with tips to vanquish your foes. So, the reason these are so good for beginners is because you have a deck. You just pull all the cards out and you can use them right away. As simple as that. And that's the beauty of structure decks. You get a lot of cards of the same type and attribute usually. Also, all you gotta do is look at the back of the box and it'll tell you exactly what cards are inside, unlike a booster pack. For our monster cards, apologies for pronunciations, they are dinosaurs, so I might not get the pronunciation correct. Monster cards, we have that's a great start. A Pteranodon. Pteranodon. Let's try that again. Pteranodon. Okay, whatever that is. Pteranodon. There we go, I think I got it there. So, just when I think I'm getting it right, I'm failing it. Anyways, we have the Pteranodon. Yeah, moving onwards. So we have that. We also have Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, Soul-Eating Oviraptor, Megalosmasher X, 2 of them, Sabersaurus, 2 of them, Superconductor Tyranno. I can't even talk right now. Superconductor Tyranno, Ultimate Tyranno, Super Ancient Dino Beast, Sauropod Brachion, Tyranno Infinity, Black Brachios, Miracle Jurassic Egg, Gilosaurus, Baby Cerosaurus, Miscellaneous Saurus, that's a hilarious name, Evil Swarm Salamandra, Stegocyber, Trifortriceps, whichever pronunciation is correct, Skelosaurus, Chewbone, Rescue Rabbit. And for our spell cards, we have Lost World, Fossil Dig, Big Evolution Pill, Twin Twisters, Burial from a Different Dimension, Swords of Concealing Light, Painful Decision, Unexpected Die, Terraforming. And for your trap cards, you have Survival's End, Survival of the Fittest, Fossil Excavation, Extinction on Schedule, Ojama Trio, Nightmare Archfiends, Quaking Mirror Force, Grand Horn of Heaven, Secret Blast, and as a bonus, we get a token, a Jura Egg token, fully compatible with all the cards you already own. So the beauty of having these cards is it's great for beginners, and if you want to just hand pick certain cards that are included in this bunch, feel free to do so. Now, all the explanation aside, the only thing we've got left to do is to open this little box of Yu-Gi-Oh! Dinosmashers Fury structure deck. Please enjoy, my friends. So, let's get this thing opened. We have a small opening here we can use. Excellent. So, let's empty it out. Alright, first of all, what's inside here? This funny looking thing is a game mat. Fold that like so. It's quite large, so bear with me here. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dinosmashers Fury structure deck. Let me weigh something on this mat here. Keep it a bit stable. So, the nice thing about structure decks is almost all of them give you a little mat to play with. You have your field zone up here, pendulum zone, extra deck zone, your 5 monster zones, spell and traps, deck, pendulum, and your graveyard. Very nice. Let's check the other side. The good thing is, as well as being a playmat, it gives you a variety of really useful information. So here you have your deck list, some tips on how to use your cards, tailor-made for your particular structure deck. So in this case, it's telling you about all the different dinosaurs we have inside, and a few strategies you have, as well as ways to use the other cards in this deck. And of course, advertisements for other Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster packs, such as Duelist Saga, Fusion Enforcers, Invasion, Vengeance, and Raging Tempest. All in all, pretty good things to have in such a small package. I'm going to try and flatten this out as much as possible. Let me find something to weigh this down. Perhaps this will do. Yeah, found something good to weigh it down. In fact, let's try something else. 1, 2. There we go. We're all set. all that's left inside this box are the cards themselves. So, I'll get her opened up. Okay, you get the mat, and all that's left are the cards themselves, and a small advertisement for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelings, a mobile app that allows you to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So, the heart and soul of a structure deck is the cards. So please sit back and enjoy, my friends, as we open Yu-Gi-Oh! Dinosmasher's Fury. Now let's go. Let's see. There we are. Very sticky, but the plastic has been removed, and now, so we got 3 little cards here. They're not trading cards, they're just advertisements. You have one for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelings for mobile phones. Real-time, fast-paced PvP duels. Plays characters from the anime, collect cards and build your ultimate deck with voice actors from the animated series. That's very interesting. On the topic of voice actors, there's the QR code there if you want to go check it out. It's quite an interesting little mobile game. So I'll put that to the side. We have a card for Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, Link Evolution, which I fully intend on recording some gameplay of sometime, when all this madness calms down a bit and I get a bit more time to relax. But, yeah, it's on pretty much all the consoles now. It was initially a Switch exclusive, but now it's sitting on Steam, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, all your basic consoles. If you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, check it out. It's time to duel. Challenge all duelists from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. Build your deck from over 10,000 cards, or take on your friends or the world. Available now. Pretty cool of them to include an advertisement like this, because the card itself still looks pretty cool. I don't think they used to do that in these structure decks. It used to just be the card and the mat. That was it. And the final advertisement is just... oh, see, this is where I'm showing my age. Initially, they used to give you an actual booklet that told you all the rules of the game. But, thanks to modern technology, we don't need to do that anymore. If you want to go and get your beginner's guide, you need to scan the QR code, and you'll get the beginner's guide that way. It is kind of nice, though, in the old days you used to get an actual little booklet, but at the same time I can understand the wanting to save money, because once you bought like more than one structure deck, you had all these manuals sitting around when you only needed the one. But it's nice to have a QR code to gain access to such things. And on the other side we have an advertisement for Yu-Gi-Oh! Eternity Code, another booster pack. And you can use that QR code there to check it out if you like. And so, we get in to the heart and soul of Dinosmasher's Fury. The cards themselves. So, let us go through these cards. They're predetermined, so we'll just go through them in whatever order they were arranged in for us to open. Our first card's going to be a token, a Dura-Egg token, a level 1 F-type dinosaur. This card can be used as a Dura-Egg token. If used for an other token, apply that token's type, attribute, level, attack, and defense. Attack and defense of tokens are basically just your basic cards that are used in a variety of ways. Some monsters summon tokens, which are usually not powerful, but they exist in their own little ways and different strategies. So you might have a monster that lets you summon a token. Well, you have a card to visibly show the token on the field, which is pretty nice. So you have your Jura Egg token. Your next card is a trap card known as Secret Blast. I'm realizing as well I'm going in reverse order. So after this, in fact, you know what? I'll go back and go in the correct order. So I'll put Jura Egg token and Secret Blast up there for now. Right, let's start off in the correct order. We have a cute little dinosaur here, the level 2 F-type, Pteranodon. Hopefully I'm getting your name right now, buddy. Pteranodon. There we go. A dinosaur with an effect. Look how cute that is. If this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon one level 4 or higher dinosaur type monster from your deck, but it cannot attack this turn. An attack and defense of 500. Well, Pteranodon is your kind of basic, cute searcher. It's weak, but if it's destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, it lets you call upon any of your dinosaurs from your deck, but it can't attack that turn. But this can be very useful, as dinosaur decks specialize in swarming the field. Just brute force, pull out the strongest thing you possibly can, have it ready to attack, or as close as you can be, and wipe out the opponent. It's really simple and it really fits the kind of feel of the dinosaurs, being primal. They exist to survive and destroy, if that makes sense. And speaking of destroy, our next card is the poster boy on this game mat. We have the brand new Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, a light type level 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 dinosaur. Level 10. Get a look at this artwork here. This looks tremendous. It's actually a fusion of two famous dinosaur cards from the past, Ultimate Tyranno and Superconductor Tyranno. Truth be told, this would also make sense as a fusion card, as they both go together so well, but an effect monster works really well also. Let me pull in some light, that you really get a feel for how vibrant the colors are in this card. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. The colors are just gorgeous in this thing. And with how vibrant the colors are, you can almost see the power that this dinosaur has. It really is the apex predator. So, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is our big bad boy of this deck. Dinosaur with an effect, an attack of 3,500 and a defense of 3,200. It cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 2 dinosaur type monsters from your graveyard. Once per turn, during either player's main phase, you can destroy 1 monster in your field or hand, and if you do, change all face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent, and if you do, send that defense position monster to the graveyard. So basically, this thing is the dinosaur of destruction, I'd say. The Ultimate Conductor Tyranno combines the effects of the Ultimate Tyranno and Superconductor Tyranno, which both are powerful cards, but together this makes for one extremely useful dino. What do I mean? Well, this thing gets to attack all your opponent's monsters at once, which is always very useful, especially in a monster with 3500 attack. And by tributing a monster from your hand or field, you can change the opponent's monsters to defense position, which then works into your favor, because if Ultimate Conductor attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict 1000 damage to the opponent and send the defense position monster to the graveyard. So, even if you don't have enough physical strength to destroy the monster, you can send it to the graveyard anyway. And for each one you take out, that's 1000 points of damage. That's a lot. So, you can physically overpower the opponent with brute force every monster at once. Or, if you destroy one in defense mode, you can inflict 1000 life points of damage for every defense position monster destroyed. That's really, really useful. And it shows you how powerful this creature really is. Beautiful artwork, very useful. And a dinosaur that I think we've been needing for years. Because the dinosaur type, I feel, has been neglected over the years. They're really cool. I mean, as childish as it is, dinosaurs are just cool. It's as simple as that. It may go back to my childish memories of just liking dinosaurs, but they're not childish at all. Dinosaurs are always cool. But in Yu-Gi-Oh!, they weren't the most powerful of beasts. But something like the structure deck is a step in the direction of bringing them up in a power of prominence. Or prominence of power, excuse me. Anyways, that is the big bad boy himself, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So our next rare card is beast called the Soul-Eating Oviraptor, a level 4 dark type monster. Very cool to have a dinosaur, but with this supernatural kind of theme. Soul-Eating Oviraptor, dinosaur with an effect, and has an attack of 1800 and a defense of 500. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can take one dinosaur type monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can target one other level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster in the field, destroy it, then special summon one dinosaur type monster from your graveyard and defense position. You can only use each effect of Soul-Eating Oviraptor once per turn. Well, this card is a crucial component in getting up to all kinds of shenanigans with summoning dinosaurs, either from the hand or the graveyard, which is pretty much how a dinosaur strategy works out. It's all about getting the strongest beast on the field possible, either from the hand or the graveyard, and then wiping out the opponent. And something like Soul-Eating Oviraptor is a step in a good direction to accomplish your goals. And just look at the artwork there. A Soul-Eating Oviraptor. Very nice. And our next card is the spell card called Lost World. And I've got to take a special moment to observe this artwork, because if you closely inspect it, you'll actually see very familiar faces. There's a lot of dinosaurs in this artwork that are monster cards in their own right. Let's see. I think that dinosaur on the right is called Trachodon, I believe. That brown dinosaur on the left of it is called Urabi. That little Triceratops is called Sabosaurus, I believe. next to a miracle Jurassic egg, a baby Cherosaurus. I forget the name of this monster. It's like a Destroyosaurus or something like that. You have a Gillosaurus there, and a mad sword beast looking quite upset. You also have a hyper hammerhead up here, as well as this guy, who unfortunately I can't remember the name of. Sorry, big guy. But yeah, for such a simple artwork, it's brimming with character. Or literal character. I mean, there's lots of cards featured in that, which I think is a nice touch. Lost World, in the game though, is a spell card. All monsters on the field lose 500 attack and defense, except dinosaur-type monsters. Once per turn, if a dinosaur-type monster is normal or special summoned, except during the damage step, you can special summon one Jura Egg token, dinosaur-type Earth level 1 attack, defense 0, to your opponent's field and defense position. While your opponent controls a token, they cannot target monsters on the field with card effects, except tokens. Once per turn, if a normal monster or monsters on the field would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy that many dinosaur-type monsters in your hand and or deck instead. So, this card has many effects, all of which can be useful if used right. They decrease the attack and defense of everything except dinosaurs, which, if you have a deck like this, gives your opponent a disadvantage and gives you an advantage. You can use it to destroy things in your own deck, which can make it easier to bring them back from the grave or bring them to your hand, as well as the fact you can summon a Jura Egg token. And by summoning this token, you can really mess with your opponent and make them unable to target certain things with certain effects. So, these two cards go hand in hand, and that is the spell card known as Lost World. And I'll put Jura Egg token down there. Since I pulled that Secret Blast, I'll pull him out next, even though he's a common. A trap card, Secret Blast. Inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card they control. If this card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. So, pretty simple. You put this down, and then if the opponent preemptively destroys this while it's face down, it's a bomb, and it goes off and hits them for 1000 damage. But if you do get to activate it, every card they control, they take 300 damage. So either way, this thing's going to inflict damage to the opponent, either 1000 for being wiped out preemptively, or 300, 300, 300, 300, 300. 6, 9, 12, 15. 1500 points of damage if you get 5 cards out. Pretty nice. And that is the trap card known as Secret Blast. Our next card is another trap called Survival's End. Now look at that card. These two great dinosaurs squaring off. Survival's End is a trap card with an amazing artwork. Survival's End. Destroy as many normal monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, special summon level 4 or lower dinosaur-type monsters from your deck up to the number destroyed, but destroy them during the end phase. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one dinosaur-type monster you control, and one card your opponent controls. Destroy them. So, it's kind of, you gotta give to get. You destroy things, you bring things back, you destroy things. The cycle of destruction. You can use this to swarm the field with dinosaurs. It's really up to you how you use this card, but it's very useful if you can pull it off. Also, destroying your own monsters in some cases is a bad thing, but if you know how to bring them back, it can actually be a good thing. So, it's all down to your own individual strategies. And that is the trap card known as Survival's End. Our next card is another dinosaur called Megalosmasher X, a level 4 water type normal monster. I love normal monsters. They don't have effects. They're straight up attack and defense, and a little bit of lore. You gotta love some lore in your games, I think. The Megalosmasher X, a level 4 water type monster with 2000 attack and 0 defense. With its sound baffling armor and gargantuan jaws, this primeval predator's phosphorence was the only possible pardon for its primitive prey. Wow, that was a lot of the letter P in there. This primeval predator's phosphorence was the only possible pardon for its primitive prey. So, funny as that sentence was phrased, it's pretty cool. A level 4 monster with 2000 attack. Now, usually when a monster's level 4, if it gets close to 2000 attack, there's a trade-off. In which case, it's really good at attacking, but it's got 0 defense. Mind you, when you have a deck which focuses on bringing cards back from the graveyard, the idea of having a big dinosaur just to smash the opponent really helps. Something you can summon in a single turn or bring back easily, because normal monsters are so simple. There's no snag to using them. As long as you can summon it, it's reliable. It's not going to do anything crazy besides attack and defend, but they're reliable if you ever need them to do what they need to do. And that was Megalosmasher X. Our next card is another normal monster. Make it 2. This is where you realize we have several copies to fill out the space of the deck. We have 2 Megalosmasher X. And now we have 2 dinosaurs, both called Sabersaurus, a level 4 F-type monster. Dinosaur. This normally gentle dinosaur enjoys relaxing in its nest in the prairies. If it becomes angered, it turns terribly ferocious. So it's basically just a big red triceratops, which was one of my favorite dinosaurs as a child. I just always loved that. I loved the triceratops. What about you, my friends? Did any of you have a favorite dinosaur when you were growing up as a kid? I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are. They really do bring up an imaginative side of us, don't they, as children? What's your favorite dinosaur? And then you're as a kid and you just think about how cool they are, you know? It's a really simple thing. Dinosaurs are cool. And lots of children agree. So, Sabersaurus, aka Big Red Triceratops, is a level 4 monster with 1900 attack and 500 defense. Nothing crazy in the defense department, but 1900 attack on an easily summonable and spammable monster is pretty good. And that was 2 copies of Sabersaurus. Next, we are going to show you 2 cards, actually. The reason I'm going to show you them both at once is because take a look at Ultimate Conductor Tyranno and look at the design. This big black dinosaur with areas that conduct electricity. Well, that's because it takes design influences from cards known as Ultimate Tyranno and Superconductor Tyranno. 2 powerful cards in their own right, pretty much fused together to make Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. They very easily could have made this a polymerization card, but it works better being summoned by banishing dinosaurs. It's a really good combination of two cool cards. So, we'll start off with Ultimate Tyranno, a level 2, 4, 6, 8 F-type dinosaur. With an effect. Look how cool he is. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls, once each. During your battle phase, if you control an Ultimate Tyranno that can attack, monsters other than Ultimate Tyranno cannot attack. An attack of 3,000 and a defense of 2,200. Basically, Ultimate Tyranno's idea is being the apex predator. If it can attack, it pretty much has to attack everything. It can, unless you command it not to. But if it can attack, none of your monsters can attack. Or your opponents. It's a pretty cool monster. It really plays off that idea of it being hyper-aggressive. It's going to just attack everything in sight until it's the last thing left standing. I really like that idea. This hyper-aggressive Tyrannosaurus Rex just destroying everything. And on the topic of a Tyranno, we have his other buddy, Super Conductor Tyranno, a light type level 2, 4, 6, 8 dinosaur. Super Conductor Tyranno is a dinosaur with an effect. Once per turn you contribute a monster and inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. This card cannot declare an attack the turn this effect is activated. An attack of 3,300 and 1,400 defense. So, you contribute a monster, which is heavily encouraged with the numerous spell and traps that dinosaurs have. Tribute a card, say Sabersaurus, 1,000 damage. But you can't attack at the same turn. Mind you, that can be the difference between winning a game. If you attack directly with this, tribute a monster, hey, that's 4,300 points worth of damage, if you're lucky enough. So that makes Superconductor Tyranno an absolute beast. And our next card's going to be the Super Ancient Dino Beast, a level 2, 4, 6, 8 F-type monster. Look at this dinosaur launching a laser beam out of its mouth. It can't get more hardcore than that. Such a childish idea. It's a dinosaur shooting a laser beam out of its mouth. I mean, that's straight out of a child's imagination. Dinosaur with an effect. You contribute summon this card in face-up attack position by tributing one dinosaur-type monster. When a dinosaur-type monster or monsters is special summoned from your graveyard, except during the damage step, while this monster is on the field, you can draw one card. He has an attack of 2,700 and a defense of 1,400. So, he's pretty much your 2,700 beatstick. He can smack things around, but if you're special summoning dinosaurs from the graveyard, you get to draw a card. And draw power is key in Yu-Gi-Oh! Getting an extra card for doing something that you would want to do anyways is very good, and it helps you keep the advantage in tough situations. Always having more cards really can help you out and increase your number of options to win the game. And so, our next dinosaur friend is going to be the Sauropod Brachyon, a level 2, 4, 6, 8 F-type dinosaur, clearly based off the Brachiosaurus. Dinosaur with an effect. Cannot be special summoned from the deck, but you contribute summon this card by face-up. Well, you contribute summon this card face-up by tributing one dinosaur-type monster. Once per turn, you can change this card to face-down defense position. If this card is flip-summoned, change all of the monsters on the field to face down defense position. If this card is attacked, any battle damage your opponent takes from that battle is doubled. It has 1500 attack and 3000 defense. So it's not really an attacker, but it has the ability to flip itself into face down defense position. And if an opponent attacks it, they got to try and take down a 3000 defense monster. Now, the battle damage will be doubled. So, if someone with 1500 points tried to attack this in face down defense position, not only will they take 1500 points of damage due to the defense beating out the opponent, but since the battle damage is doubled, they'll actually take 3000 points of damage, which is really good. And this card allows you to put the opponent's monsters in face down defense position. There's a lot of cards out there that really suffer when they can't remain face up in the field. So, depending on your opponent, this can be a vital piece of taking them out. But it's all down to you. Next, we're going to get a dinosaur that's really cool. Very simple, but hey, it's all he needs. We have the dinosaur, known as Tyranno Infinity, a level 4 F-type monster. His effect. The original attack of this card is the number of your banished dinosaur-type monsters times 1000, with a defense of 0, and an unknown attack. If you get late into the game and say you've banished 8 dinosaurs, Tyranno Infinity will have 8000 attack. But if you play him early in the game and you've only banished 1 dinosaur, he will only have 1000 attack. You see where I'm going with the maths on this? Basically, the more banished dinosaurs, the more powerful Tyranno Infinity is. It's all down to you. But he does have his weakness. No matter what, he always has 0 defense. But having a level 4 monster that can possibly get up to 5000 attack, summonable in 1 turn, can really deal a lot of damage in the right hands. And that is Tyranno Infinity. Our next card's going to be the effect monster known as Black Brachios, a level 4 F-type monster. Dinosaur with an effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 monster on the field. Change that target to face-up defense position. An attack of 1800 and a defense of 1100. Nothing much, it's just when it's summoned, you can kind of mess with the position of your opponent's monsters. It's not too great, but hey, each to their own. It allows you to mess with the opponent at least, so it has its own uses. Situational, yes, but not worthless. Every card has its own use. Plus, sometimes it's just fun to play with the not meta, if you get what I'm saying. Sometimes it's fun to play with the cards that aren't going to win you every single game, because that's what keeps things fresh and interesting. And that is Black Brachios. I'm enjoying this video so far, my friends, and I hope you are too. I'm definitely getting the bug. I'm definitely thinking about just buying more structure decks because you get to stay on topic on the one topic. You know, most of these cards are going to be dinosaur related, so I don't need to tail off and talk about machines or fairies, you know. So if I open a structure deck that's going to have warriors or fairies, I'm only going to talk about that type, which makes for a pretty clean-cut video in terms of content. You want to go see dinosaurs? Check this one out. You want to see fairies? Go over here. Fish? Here. I'd like to unbox structure decks because they're really fun. And you get a feel for how each type of monster really plays. With dinosaurs, you get to see all the big, huge monsters that were all about getting them on the field and punching the opponent in the face for T-Rex. Anyways, all that aside, our next card's going to be the Miracle Jurassic Egg, a level 4 F-type monster. Dinosaur with an effect. While face up on the field, this card cannot be banished. Each time a dinosaur-type monster or monsters is sent to your graveyard, place 2 counters on this card. You can tribute this card. Special summon 1 dinosaur-type monster from your deck, whose level is less than or equal to the number of counters that were on this card. An attack of 0, and a defense of 2,000. So, Miracle Jurassic Egg is basically your passive card. It sits there and does nothing but defend. But, if dinosaurs are sent to the graveyard, it gains points. Gains tokens, points, counters. And the more of these points, counters, tokens that it has, the stronger beast that this egg can hatch into. So, it can turn into something as simple as a Sabersaurus, or it can turn into something as powerful as the ultimate Tyranno. It's all situational, and that's part of the fun. You never know. And that was the Miracle Jurassic Egg. The next card's going to be a very useful card in general, called the Gilosaurus, a level 3 F-type monster. Look how aggressive this thing looks. It's wonderful. Jumping at you. Dinosaur with an effect. You can special summon this card from your hand. If special summoned this way, activate this effect. Your opponent can special summon 1 monster from their graveyard. 1400 attack and 400 defense. On one hand, it is very useful to be able to just special summon this straight to the field. As simple as that. You can just spam the field with these cards. But every time you do it, the opponent can bring back 1 card from their graveyard. But it's pretty good early on if you haven't destroyed anything yet. Say you got 2 of these Gilosauruses in your hand on the first turn. You can just throw 2 of them down on the field as a special summon, and the opponent can't do anything because they haven't got anything to revive, which can be very useful. Gilosaurus is practically made to be spammed onto the field, like swarms of raptors. And that is the Gilosaurus. Very cool looking. And now we go from cool to cute with the creature known as the baby Cherosaurus. I don't know if it's Sarah or Kara. Let's call it baby Cherosaurus for now. A level 2 F-type adorable monster. Still in its eggshell. Dinosaur with an effect. If this card is destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster from your deck. An attack and defense of 500. It's not going to be winning many fights at all, but if it's eliminated by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can summon a level 4 monster dinosaur from your deck straight to the field. So, if it's taken out by an effect, pull something level 4 out and summon it straight to the field. Still very useful despite its cute appearance. And that was the baby Cherosaurus. Look how cute those eyes are. Looks like a dinosaur from the land before time. Does anyone remember that cartoon? I sure do. Those dinosaurs were adorable. That was a really good cartoon, actually. Talk about going through memory lane. Next, we've got one of the most hilarious names I've seen for a creature in pretty much any game. We have the level 4 fire type, Miscellaneous Saurus. It's a creature with parts from a lot of dinosaurs. Got Triceratops there, a Stegosaurus, a fusion of all these different dinosaurs, hence the name Miscellaneous Saurus. It's a dinosaur with an effect. During either player's main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. During this main phase, dinosaur-type monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Pretty handy. You can banish any number of dinosaur-type monsters from your graveyard, including this card. Then, special summon one dinosaur-type monster from your deck with a level equal to the total number of monsters banished to activate this effect, but destroyed during the end phase. You can only use this effect of Miscellaneous Saurus once per turn. An attack of 1800 and a defense of 1000. So, Miscellaneous Saurus can be used to protect your dinosaurs from card effects. Or, you can use it to, in an unorthodox way, summon a dinosaur-type monster from your deck, but it comes at a cost. But having two effects means you can use this in quite a few situations, and that is the Miscellaneous Saurus. And so our next card's quite interesting, because even though it's a dinosaur, it's part of another archetype completely. It is the Evil Swarm Salamandra, a level 4 dark type monster. It's unusual because this belongs to a completely separate archetype, Evil Swarm, but it's still ultimately a dinosaur, so we can use it in our deck. Evil Swarm Salamandra is a level 4 dark type monster with 1850 attack and 950 defense. The effect, up to twice per turn, you can banish one monster from your graveyard. This card gains 300 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. So, you can turn this from a monster with an attack of 1850 to 2150 by banishing a monster. Or, you can change it to 2450 by banishing 2 cards from your graveyard. So having a level 4 monster that can get 2450 attack is pretty substantial, but you need to banish cards to the graveyard to do it. A recurring theme in some of these dinosaurs, and that is Evil Swarm Salamandra. Next card is going to be the dinosaur known as Stegocyber, a level 2, 4, 6 dark type monster. Quite mechanical in nature. Really nice artwork there. Dinosaur with an effect. During damage calculation, if your opponent's monster attacks while this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 1000 life points, special summon this card, and if you do, you take no battle damage from that battle, but banish this card when it leaves the field. This is a quick effect. Nice. You can only use this effect of Stegocyber once per turn. Attack of 1200 and a defense of 2400. So, this is a good way to pull something out of the graveyard. It revives itself with 1000 life points and is special summoned, but once it's revived, when it goes out again, it's banished rather than going to the graveyard. So, useful to defend yourself, but when it comes back, it's gone, unless you can bring it back from banishment, which we'll get into later. And that was Stegocyber. Next is a card that's tricky to pronounce, but that's kind of the name of the game when it comes to dinosaurs sometimes. We have the card known as Trifortresops, a dark type level 6 monster. Nice artwork there as well. A machine with an effect, so not a dinosaur. Dinosaur, yes, but it is a machine type. It's weird. During either player's turn, if your opponent's special summoned apologies, got carried away there. During either player's turn, if your opponent summoned 3 or more monsters this turn, you can special summon this card from your hand. If summoned this way, It is unaffected by other cards' effects, but loses 500 defense during each player's standby phase. 1600 attack and 2800 defense. So this thing can be called upon. It can be called upon if your opponent special summons 3 or more monsters in a turn, or normal summons, doesn't matter. Basically, if your monster gets 3 or more cards on the field, you can call this thing from your hand, and it's unaffected by card effects, but it loses 500 defense every turn. Now, 2800 defense is pretty good, but when it goes down by 500 every turn, it can begin to become a liability. But it's a good way to get a high defense monster out in a pinch that's immune to card effects. A solid defense from Trifortress Ops. Who's going over here? And our next card's going to be, wait for it, an easier to pronounce card called the Skelosaurus, a level 4 dark type zombie Gemini monster. It's a dinosaur, but predominantly it's a zombie type. It's a Gemini monster with an effect. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. While this card is a normal monster in the field, you can normal summon it to have it become an effect monster with these effects. This card becomes Earth Dinosaur type. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field and defense position, and if you do, it becomes zombie type. Ooh, interesting. 1700 attack and 1400 defense. So, Gemini monsters work out like, okay, I have a Skelosaurus, I'm going to summon him. Then comes your next turn. You can summon the same card again. Think of it as its potential being unleashed. So imagine Skelosaurus in the second turn being normal summoned again, like its flesh comes back to its body or something. That awakens its effect, which is, if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon it to your field and defense position, but it becomes zombie type. Basically, it brings your opponent's destroyed monster back from the grave under your control, but it becomes a zombie type. It's pretty cool and useful, though. And that is the Skelosaurus, the cool-looking Gemini zombie dinosaur. And our next card's going to be a level 3 F-type zombie called Chewbone. Chewbone is a zombie flip effect monster. Effect. Flip effect. Special summon 3 Chewbone Jr. tokens. Zombie type F level 1, attack 100, defense 300 to your opponent's field and defense position. An attack of 300 and a defense of 300. It allows you to clog up your opponent's field if for whatever reason you feel like doing that. 3 tokens, zombie, to your opponent's field. And that is Chewbone. And now, we've had all sorts of badass dinosaurs and cool Jurassic creatures. So it's time for a bit of a change of pace with the final monster card in this structure deck, which is not a dinosaur at all, but a very cute and useful card called Rescue Rabbit, a level 4 F-type monster. I think the rescue monsters are among the most adorable in the game. They're just little ordinary animals with a helmet or a whistle or miscellaneous rescue gear on. They're adorable. Rescue Rabbit's a level 4 F-type monster, beast with an effect. Cannot be special summoned from the deck. You can banish this face-up card you control. Special summon 2 level 4 or lower normal monsters with the same name from your deck, but destroy them during the end phase. You can only use this effect of Rescue Rabbit once per turn. 300 attack and 100 defense. It's not very powerful in its own. I mean, look at it, it's just a little rabbit. But it allows you to bring forward 2 level 4 or lower normal monsters with the same name from your deck out at the same time. But they have to be destroyed at the end of the turn. But this little bunny can pull out 2 of any normal monsters below level 4. So you can get up to all kinds of crazy strategies, not just with dinosaurs, but overall. And rescue creatures in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are very cute, but very practical if you know how to use them. And have I mentioned they're cute? Because they are. And now for the rest of the video. The rest of the cards we're going to get into are going to be spell and trap cards. So, our first spell card we have here is the spell card known as Fossil Deck, which is intensely powerful in a card deck. Excuse me. This card is immensely powerful in a deck like this. Why? It lets you add 1 level 6 or lower dinosaur type monster from your deck to your hand. It's that straightforward. You can take a level 6 or lower dinosaur. Among all the dinosaurs I showed you, any of them that are level 6 or lower, bring one to your hand. It's that simple. And that's what makes this card so simple but powerful. And that is Fossil Dig. Planning excavation. Our next spell card is a card called Big Evolution Pill. The spell card's effect. After this card's activation, it remains in the field, but destroy it during your opponent's FUD end phase. Tribute 1 dinosaur type monster to activate this card. But while this card is face up on the field, you can normal summon level 5 or higher dinosaur type monsters without tributing. That's an incredibly powerful effect for sacrificing 1 dinosaur. It allows you to summon high level dinosaurs without tributing, effectively meaning you can just summon them in the field like they were ordinary monsters. Really good for spamming out dinosaurs. And that is the Big Evolution Pill. Steroids for dinosaurs, as if they needed them. Now we get into a more utility and general function card that works in pretty much every deck. We get the spell card called Twin Twisters. We have magical hats in the background and a magical telescope. I think it's called Ancient Telescope, actually. Basically, Twin Twisters is a spell card. Discard 1 card. Then target up to 2 spell or trap cards in the field. Destroy them. You sacrifice 1 card, you take out 2 spell and traps. It's really such a useful card because any deck can benefit from an effect as simple as this. It's simple demolition of spell and trap cards, tailor-made to whatever situation you require. And that is the ever-useful Twin Twisters spell card. Our next card is another one that could be used in pretty much any deck, but remains to be very useful. And apologies, I just bumped into the camera there like a fool. Spell card, Burial from a Different Dimension. When this is activated, you can target up to 3 banished monsters, return them to the graveyard. You'd move monsters from banishment to the graveyard, which makes them easier to revive in some cases. This is a card that is very useful in a lot of different decks because of its generic use. It doesn't specify a specific monster, it just does what it needs to do regardless of type, making this a very useful spell card. Burial from a Different Dimension. Our next spell card is a dark variation of a classic card. Rather Swords of Revealing Light, we have the Swords of Concealing Light, these dark swords, the skull hovering over them. Destroy this card during your second standby phase after activation. When this card resolves, change all monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. Monsters your opponent controls cannot change their battle positions. So basically, flips the opponent's monsters face-down to defense position, but this destroys itself in 2 turns. So rather than Swords of Revealing Light, which flips cards face up, this puts them face down. And that is the Swords of Concealing Light. Our next card is sad but funny. It is the spell card Painful Decision. We have 3 cards known as the Ojama Brothers: Ojama Yellow, Ojama Blue, and Ojama Green. And green and blue are in a terrible position, trying to escape a shark. And Ojama Yellow has to make the terrible decision to save one or the other. Hence, Painful Decision. Per Ojama Brothers. Hopefully they all turn out okay. Send 1 level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do, add 1 card with the same name as that card from your deck to your hand. You only activate 1 Painful Decision per turn. Yeah. So, you send a card to the graveyard, and you get one with the same name from your deck to your hand. You can only activate it once per turn. A useful retrieval card, should you require it. That was Painful Decision. The next card is a spell card called Unexpected Die. We have the monster known as Warrior Digrapher, and the artwork there. The spell card is simple. If you control no monsters, special summon 1 level 4 or lower normal monster from the deck. So, if you don't have a monster available, play this, and you can pull one pretty much out of nowhere. That is Unexpected Die. A good emergency card to have. Our next spell card is so useful, you can use it in pretty much any deck. It's simple. A card called Terraforming. The spell card is a simple effect. Add 1 field spell card from your deck to your hand. So, this can be used in pretty much any deck that requires field spells. You want to power up zombies? If you want to get old school, this card can be used to retrieve Forest, Umi, Sogen, Mountain, Yami, and all those classic field spell cards, as well as the modern ones. So, pretty much Terraforming is, you need a field spell card, bring one of them out after playing this. That is Terraforming. Now the rest of the cards are all going to be trap cards. And then we close to the end of this video. So, our first trap card is going to be Survival of the Fittest. Look at this. Ultimate Tyranno reigning supreme over Black Tyranno. Target 1 dinosaur type monster you control. Equip this card to that target. It gains 1000 attack. When that attacking monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. The equipped monster can make a second attack on an opponent's monster in a row. So, this trap is basically able to beef up one of your dinosaurs by 1000 attack points. Then, if it destroys something by battle, it can fight another opponent in a row. That is Survival of the Fittest. Our next card is a trap card called Fossil Excavation. So earlier we had Fossil Dig, now we have Fossil Excavation. These guys were lucky and found a fossil. The trap card with an effect. Activate this card by discarding 1 card. Then target 1 dinosaur-type monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target, but negate the effects of that monster in the field. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster When that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. Long story short, you discard one card. This lets you bring back a dinosaur from the grave, but you negate its effects. Also, if the dinosaur is destroyed, this goes away. If this goes away, the dinosaur goes away. It's a symbiotic relationship. One can't be on the field without the other, but it's a pretty easy revival for a dinosaur type. It's pretty useful. And that is fossil excavation. Next, we have the harrowing card called Extinction on Schedule, a trap card. Those poor dinosaurs. Extinction on Schedule. During the main phase, pay 2,000 life points. Make both players send all cards they control to the graveyard at the end of the third battle phase after this card's activation. So, you pay 2,000 life points, and then, in 3 turns, both of you have to destroy all the cards you control. You gotta share the pain. Extinction doesn't select people, you know. You pay the 2,000, you gotta pay the price as well as your opponent. And that is Extinction on Schedule. Poor guys. And next, to brighten the world up after that depressing artwork, we have the trap card, Ojama Trio. I love the Ojama cards. I would love to open a structure deck if they made an Ojama one. I really would. These guys are so silly, so quirky, that I can't help but love them. The Ojama Trio, yellow, blue, and green, the originals. Trap card on effect. Special summon 3 Ojama tokens. Beast type, light, level 2, attack 0, defense 1000. To your opponent's field in defense position. They cannot be tributed for a tribute summon, and each time one is destroyed, its controller takes 300 damage. So these 3 annoying little guys can actually annoy your opponent to your advantage. You summon 3 of them, they take up the field, but the opponent can't tribute them, so it takes away the advantage of being able to summon things. Also, if the opponent removes them, they take 300 damage. Pretty useful. And that is Ojama Trio. Our next card's going to be the trap card called Nightmare Archfiends. Trap card with an effect. Tribute 1 monster. Special summon 3 Nightmare Archfiend tokens. Fiend type Dark, level 6, attack and defense of 2000. To your opponent's field in attack position. Each time one is destroyed, its controller takes 800 damage. So this one is a lot riskier. You have to tribute a monster, and you summon 3 monsters with 2000 attack and defense to your opponent's field in attack position. But the opponent takes 800 damage for each one that's destroyed. So if you can wipe them out, you can possibly hit the opponent for 2400 damage, but if you fail, you've just given the opponent 3 2000 attack and defense monsters. So you have to take great care when using a card like this, and that is Nightmare Archfiends. Our final 2 cards are coming. Second last card is Quaking Mirror Force, a very useful trap card. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, change all attack position monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. Monsters changed to face-down defense position by this effect cannot change their battle positions. So, opponent attacks you, everything gets done face-down defense position, and they can't change their battle positions to get out of it. A very useful trap in a pinch, and that is Quaking Mirror Force. And so, our final card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dinosmashers Fury is the trap card called Grand Horn of Heaven. A counter trap card. During your opponent's main phase, when they would special summon a monster or monsters, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. Then your opponent draws one card, and then end the main phase. So, there's a trade-off here. The opponent tries to special summon, you activate this, and pretty much say, no, that's not happening. But they get to draw one card in exchange, and then the main phase ends. But sometimes being able to just throw a spanner in the works and say, no, that's not happening, it can derail a strategy if you use it right. And that is the Grand Horn of Heaven. And so, we have shown you every single card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dinosmasher's Fury structure deck. We got quite a variety of cards, quite a lot of dinosaurs, but we also got a few surprises in there. We got to see the rescue rabbit, we got to see some of the Ojamas, and dinosaurs everywhere. This makes it for a really fun beginner's pack. If you want to try out Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, this is a good place to start at the current environment. It's pretty much all about getting your dinosaurs out in the field and slapping the opponent around. So, if that's your cup of tea, check out Yu-Gi-Oh! Dinosmasher's Fury, as we show you all the cards in total we obtained before we say goodbye. So, we obtained Survival of the Fittest, Extinction on Schedule, Nightmare Archfiends, Grand Horn of Heaven, Quaking Mirror Force, Ojama Trio, Fossil Excavation, Unexpected Die, Swords of Concealing Light, Big Evolution Pill, Fossil Dig, Twin Twisters, Burial from a Different Dimension, Painful Decision, Terraforming, Evil Swarm Salamandra, Black Brachios, Secret Blast, Chewbone, Baby Kerosaurus, Gilosaurus, Survival's End, Tyranno Infinity, Sabosaurus, Megalosmasher X, Rescue Rabbit, Stegocyber, Miracle Jurassic Egg, Sauropod Brachion, Sabosaurus, Megalosmasher X, Trifortrosops, Miscellaneousaurus, Super Ancient Dino Beast, a Jura Egg Token, Super Conductor Tyranno, Petit Pteranodon, hey, I got the pronunciation right, Ultimate Tyranno, Lost World, Skelosaurus, Soul-Eating Oviraptor, and the face of the playmat, the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. And as I put all of these cards out on display, it is time to say goodbye, my friends, as we complete Yu-Gi-Oh! Dinosmasher's Fury structure deck ASMR. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, my friends. This is the first time in all the videos I've made with Yu-Gi-Oh! That I have done an unboxing of a structure deck. It's something a little bit different, and it allows me to go and really enjoy solo archetypes. There are many structure decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! For me to have fun with. So if you have any recommendations or things you have to say about this video, please feel free. What's your favorite dinosaur growing up? What's your favorite structure decks? You enjoying the video? How you doing? Hope things are alright. Ultimately, regardless, if you're watching this video to this point, thank you so much for your time. And please take it easy, my friends. You all mean a lot to me. And I hope you, no matter who you are or where you are, you have a wonderful time, my friends. Whatever it is, you're going through in life at the moment, I believe in you, my friends. Whatever it is in your path, you can do it. I believe in you. As we wrap up this fun little Yu-Gi-Oh video, this has been Alakazam ASMR, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you from the bottom of my black little heart for taking the time to pay us a little visit. Take it easy, my friends. Thank you so much, and until next time, adios, my friends. Much more content will be on the way in the future. Until then, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and adios, my friends. Thank you.